Hello guys, welcome to my channel Immigrant. My name is Sagar, and in today's video I will share you some tips on how I scored 7.5 bands in IELTS for my express entry PR. Now I know scoring a band in IELTS can be a little bit intimidating. I mean, I've seen a lot of my friends, relatives struggle, or they're still struggling even if their English is pretty good. For example, I have this friend from Mexico, and I think he gave IELTS for 5 times. He attempted IELTS for 5 times, and on his 6th attempt he was finally able to score the band he wanted. I mean, you don't really want that. It's gonna cost you a lot of money. First of all, it's pretty expensive, about $300, almost 300 Canadian dollars if you do it from Canada itself, and then it's going to delay up your PR process, the overall process. So all in all, it's just going to cost you a lot of money and your time if you have to redo it again and again. But I was able to do it at the first attempt. I mean, it's nothing to brag about. Even my English is not perfect. I struggle myself. It's not my first language, but I would like to share some tips with you all. If that can help you, even one person, I mean, that would be great. So the first thing that I can share is book your test first and then start preparing, because otherwise what's going to happen, you're just going to procrastinate it. You'll think I'll study today, I'll do it tomorrow, and maybe that day will never come, right? So depending on your level of English, see how much time you need. But what I did was I gave myself 4 months. I booked my test in January for April. So I had 4 months. I knew my test date, and I was spending more and more hours as my test was coming closer. So now that you have booked your test, the second thing that I can suggest you to do is set a target. So see how many bands you need. Totally depends on your profile, your work experience, your job, your age, and there's several other factors. So see how many points you have, how many points you need depending on the recent CRS draw. But if you want to know a simple way to find how many bands you need, I have a separate video on that, so go ahead and watch it. Because otherwise what's going to happen is people will tell you that you need 8,777 for express entry. That's not really the case. Mine was 9, 7.5, 7.5, 6.5, and trust me, I got really disappointed when I got my results, because I was like, it's not 8,777, I have to redo it, I have to book it again. So don't get confused. See how many bands you need, okay? And while you're practicing, you know how much you're scoring right now and how much you actually need. So we all know our weaknesses, right? I mean, some of you might have already given it at the time of study visa. It's kind of same format, or if it's your second or third attempt. And even if you're completely new, if you're giving it for the first time, I would say get used to the format and see where you're lacking. So for example, I always struggle with the writing part, true false not given in reading, match the headings, MCQs in listening. Comment below what you find difficult. So if I'm studying for 1 hour, I will devote more time on those weak points and rest on the remaining sections. And if you struggle with speaking, don't just watch videos. I mean, try to practice yourself. Do it with your friend, someone who can correct you, or there are some mobile applications that you can use to practice. If you have given IELTS before, you know timing plays a big role. Listening is just a recording, so it's preset. But you get 60 minutes for reading, 60 minutes for writing, and even there is a section in speaking where you have to speak for about 2 minutes. Having said that, I would highly recommend you to time yourself whenever you practice. I mean, just use a stopwatch, because I remember at the time of my study visa, when I was giving my academic IELTS, I wasn't able to complete my writing part, which affected my overall band score. But this time, I made sure whenever I was practicing my reading, writing, and even speaking, I timed myself, and trust me, I could really see the difference. I was able to complete my tests on time, actually before time. So just use a stopwatch. I mean, it will help you to track how much time you're taking to complete your reading and writing. What I also did was to further divide my time into smaller sections. For example, I set a target to complete letter writing in about 15 to 17 minutes so that I can spend more time on the essay writing, which I think has more weightage. And also same with the reading as well. My target was to spend more time on the last paragraph, which was kind of tricky for me. So yeah, just time yourself, time your practice. It will definitely help you. You will see the difference of you progressing. Because if you have given IELTS before, you might have experienced it. We all struggle to complete it on time, or you're just rushing yourself to complete it and you mess it up. So definitely you don't want that to happen to yourself, and just use this stopwatch on your smartphones. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything, but it will give you better results. So now the question is, what resources do I use to practice for IELTS General Training? Should I use books, online resources, YouTube? So I would say it completely depends on what you're comfortable with. I mean, I'm kind of old school, so I did it from the actual books. I practiced from the books itself. But if you're giving computer based, I mean, it depends on the test as well, what kind of test you are giving. If you're giving computer based, then definitely you have to practice online on your computer. Even for paper based, I mean, you can still practice online. You can use PDF files, ebooks, but the answers you should write it on a piece of paper or a notebook, because that's what you're gonna do at the time of the test. And for speaking, as I mentioned before, please don't just watch videos. I mean, you have to practice yourself. Do it with your friends. Even if you have your siblings who can help you, if they're back home, just call them, do a video call, FaceTime, Skype, whatever you use. So for other sections like listening, reading, writing, the only book that I used was the book by Cambridge University. They have different parts. So I did IELTS, Cambridge IELTS 10, 11, 12 and 13. If you're in Canada, it's free of cost. You can just get it from your public library. I think you can even find it online, just do some research. But there is this one YouTube channel that I would highly recommend, is E2 Language. It's run by Jay. I think he's in Australia. But yeah, his teaching style, trust me guys, is fantastic. It really helped me. I think I've watched almost every video. Someone who recommended me, she actually scored 8.5 bands. I don't know how, but yeah. So go check out his channel too. It's E2 Language. You will definitely find it helpful. The last thing that I would like to mention is practice on daily basis. I mean, I know we all have busy lifestyle. Even when I was preparing my IELTS, I had my full-time job, gym, workout, cooking, you know, and the list goes on, right? So at least try to spend 30 minutes or 1 hour if you can. But what you can do, what I did was to separate, divide your time into smaller sections. So for example, one day I'll just work on MCQs from listening, then the next day I'll do the true false not given, then even if I have time, I'll just write an opening and closing structure for my essay writing. So plan it depending on your level of English, your weaknesses and your schedule. You can spend more hours on your days off, but make sure you do some mock tests. That's what I did. So listening, reading, writing without taking any break, and a separate mock test for your speaking, so that you get a gist of an actual test day. Now I know IELTS test results can be totally unpredictable sometimes. I mean, I never expected 9 band in listening, and on the other side I was actually expecting at least 8 band in reading, but I got 7.5. But the thing is, you still have to practice. I mean, there is no shortcut, right? You don't want your PR application to get delayed just because of IELTS, and on top of that, you're gonna lose some money as well. So make sure you practice. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it helpful. Share with your friends, give it a thumbs up if you like, comment below for any questions. If you haven't done it, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I have a lot more videos coming up. I wish you guys all the best, and I'll see you in the next video. So